it's Christina from Card Making Magic. This is what I'm going to show you how to make today, the little tree ready for Christmas. Now, to determine the size of the tree that you want, you need to create your base card, and all I've done is cut an A4 piece of card in half and created a little hinge from some scrap card, and all I'm going to do is glue that at the top and glue that again and glue that to that hinge, and that will give me that effect on my card. Now for this card I'm going to stick to traditional Christmas colours of red and green, so I've cut myself smaller layers that will sit on my card. So I've glued my two red and green pieces together, but for the front I've embossed a nice piece of parchment, and that's just going to sit on the front of the card. Now if you add that parchment with glue, it will show through and it will look a mess. So using an old mouse mat and a pokey tool, I'm just going to make corners in the parchment, and I'm going to fasten them together then with white brads, and once you've opened the legs at the back, that will hold your parchment in place. So I'm going to do that on all the corners. So there we are with the parchment in place with the brads. Now all I've done with that is run it through the a die cutting machine in an embossing folder. So that's going to sit on the front of my card, and there's a small border around everything. And for the panel that sits inside, I've just wrapped it with some red ribbon, and that's going to sit inside my card for the liner. Now we can decide what size tree we want. So this is the panel that we're going to work on, and we need to decide what size tree we want on the front of this card. Now all I've done is fold in half some scrap paper, and with the folded end on my card, I've just sat it down and I've roughly drawn a tree shape, and it's much the same as we did for the bauble card to decide what size we want. Now once I've got my shape, I've cut it out, and this now is my template for my tree. So from some green card I've laid my template down, and I have cut myself 3 of the trees, and then I've embossed them, and once they're embossed I've scored and folded them so that they will all be in half. So once they're all scored and folded, I'm going to glue them together. So on one of the sides I'm just going to add in some glue, and I'm going to push it to the inside of the second one, and that will keep those together. And then on this side I'm going to glue it so that the third piece can be butted into it, and that will give me the folding out tree. Now once my tree is all glued together, I'm going to add some glitter along the branches. So with some wet glue I'm just going to go along the branches, and this will look as if there's snow landed on it. So I'm going to do all those, and then I'm just going to pop them in some glitter, and I'm going to work my way along this tree so that all the edges are glittered and sparkly. Now once I've glittered the edges, I'm just adding in some different size pearls, 2 different sizes of pearls, and I'm using red to keep with the colour theme, and all I'm doing is just adding these randomly along the branches, and they will just be like Christmas baubles on the tree. So stick in as many or as little as you wish. So I'm now ready to start assembling my card. I've put my liner in, I've wrapped my ribbon around my front panel. That's going to sit on my card there. My tree has got glitter and baubles on it, and that will sit along this side of the card. I've double layered my sentiment, Merry Christmas, with the red and the green, and that's going to sit along there. And then at the top of the tree, I'm just going to add in a little gemstone star. So there we have a fun element for a Christmas card, and by order of my film crew I've put some snow along the top of the sentiment. I've added some ribbon to the top of the tree and I've dotted the snowflakes around the tree, and it's all ready for Christmas. Now, although it's a card with dimension in it, don't forget that it will fold flat to go in an envelope for you to send to your recipient.